Hey everybody, Aaron Walther here with a quick comic book review for you. This time I'm talking about Aliens Dead Orbit by James Stokoe. I was chatting with a friend of mine the other day and she was telling me how much she loved all the Aliens comics and she was looking for some of the new stuff. And I was surprised to learn that there have been several Aliens comics produced recently, even. This book comes from 2017, I believe, so I guess it's not that new, but it's still relatively new when you think like the first Alien movie was 1979. So this franchise is still rocking. I have flipped through some of the original Alien series published by Dark Horse back in the 90s. This was before Aliens 3 came out, and Hicks was the main character, and they were pretty solid. I remember, but I was a kid. I just remember liking Space Marines fighting aliens. Um, so I decided I wanted to take a look at some Aliens comics, and the first one that jumped out to me was James Stokoe. I'm a big fan of his art. You might recognize him from some indie work like Orkstain and Sullivan's Sluggers. He also did a Godzilla series called Godzilla Half Century War, and he's done some other work here and there for the bigger publishers, Marvel and DC, Dark Horse, etc. But he's not a guy that has like a big mainstream superhero style. He definitely fits more into that indie comic style. I think he's perfectly suited for the Aliens universe because he's got a real. It's simultaneously gritty and also fluid. So a lot of his figures kind of have a like a roughness to them. It makes them look kind of weird sometimes, but it really is fitting for the alien world, the universe that the alien stories exist in. And he definitely captures the a lot of like the technical feel for the aliens movies where everything is kind of just junky and broken down and you're in space and it just sucks. So he definitely captures that spirit of the movie. The story is pretty straightforward. It's just about a crew working at a space station, like a way station and a fuel stop for transport cargo, and an unidentified ship drifts into their orbit, so they decide to investigate, and guess what happens? There's an alien on board. But it's a little bit more nuanced than that. Um, I think one of the things I like about Stokoe's art is he definitely brings an element of body horror to the style, which is always kind of present in Alien. But it definitely works in the comic form, where like you have these figures here that were like suffering like horrible burns and scars, and so they just look creepy and weird. Definitely the kind of thing that you stands out in the comic book medium. That's what I liked about it. Going along with what I was saying about his grittiness and the organic nature of his art, it definitely lends itself to the aliens themselves. Just again, his art style just looks tailor made for aliens. Um, I liked this book a lot. It's a pretty light read as far as comics go. I mean, it's an alien story. There's not a whole lot I think you can do with the setup, and I think he does a good job of giving people what they want. People in space don't know what they're dealing with. Alien cuts aboard, kills people, but it looks really cool as it's happening. I think when I first read this, it was not under the most ideal circumstances, and I kept getting interrupted a lot. The narrative jumps back and forth between like the present day story and then the character flashing back to how events ended up the way they did when the book starts, and that kind of threw me off the first time I read it because, as I said, it wasn't the most ideal circumstances that I was reading it, and so it's easy to kind of lose track of where things fit chronologically, but it also adds to the the surreal nature of aliens and just that type of story and the action horror that's going on. So I read it a second time and I think it read a lot better for me. So maybe that's the only thing I would say is don't read this when you're supposed to be doing something else and you're constantly getting interrupted because you might lose track of what's going on. Just sit down, turn the lights off, maybe turn on like a John Carpenter soundtrack or something, and a drink of your choice, and I think you will enjoy this book a lot. Thanks everybody for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel so I can keep doing some more of this, yada yada yada. And if you want to check out some of the comics that I write and self-publish, go to secondthoughtcomics.com. See you next time.